I'm going to be honest, most of the time I have very little confidence when it comes to licensed games, especially licensed RPGs. When Hogwarts Legacy was first announced, I naturally had my doubts. For a bit of context, I do really like the series, but I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan out there. I read a couple of the books and I've seen all the movies a few times, but if I went to a Harry Potter quiz night, I'd probably come last. With that said, it was hard for me not to be excited about Hogwarts Legacy. The footage that has been gradually drip-fed to us over the past couple of years kept on stepping it up a gear, and it got to the point where it looked too good to be true. A AAA Harry Potter-like RPG published by Warner Brothers Entertainment. Maybe it could be a success. But Hogwarts Legacy is a bit of a mixed bag. In some regards, it does an outstanding job, but in other areas, I was left wanting more. Before we get into this review, if you liked this video, it would help me out a lot to hit that like button and sub for more RPG content. Also, what did you think of Hogwarts Legacy? Or do you plan to pick it up in the future? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, let's get into it. For the most part, Hogwarts Legacy is a pretty good looking game. Hogwarts itself is exactly what I wanted. It is absolutely massive with every corner handcrafted in great detail. From the expansive Great Hall to the plethora of hidden rooms to the animated paintings and statues spread throughout, Hogwarts really looks and feels like it should. Unfortunately, this level of detail doesn't translate to the other environments. Hogsmeade looks great, but all of the other towns, dungeons, forests, whatever looks very generic and there's nothing to differentiate one from another. The character models are okay, but they do look a generation behind, particularly with their facial animations. And if you're the kind of person looking for a waifu witch or a Hogwarts husbando, you may be a little disappointed. Creating attractive character models was not the aim here, which is really rare these days, probably because I play too many JRPGs. Something that has to be mentioned is the incredible soundtrack. It was so important for the musical score to feel like it belongs in the Harry Potter universe. Composers Alexander Horowitz and J. Scott Riccozzi absolutely nailed it. You begin the game by creating your wizard character, and since I was going to be in the Harry Potter universe, I wanted a scar. Oh, that one's a little too nasty. Now, Hogwarts Legacy is definitely the most inclusive game I have ever played in my life. It makes me wonder if some of the design choices was a response to Harry Potter's author J.K. Rowling and her controversial tweets and stance regarding the transgender community.
Seems you've made an unfortunate enemy. Watch your back. Rookwood and Harlow are worse than any troll you might encounter.
The range of characters that you meet are incredibly diverse, and this is clear from the very start in the character creator. You are not locked out of things based on your choices. What I mean is that if you choose a character resembling a male, you can then choose a female sounding voice and sleep in either the male or the female dorm rooms. Regardless of what you choose, your pronouns are always going to be they, them, which was a bit confusing in some conversations. I found it strange that pronouns is the one area where you're not given a choice.
You, my friend, are a gentle person and a scholar.
Hogwarts Legacy begins with your character enrolling into Hogwarts as a 5th year student, which is apparently a rare occurrence. On the way to the school, your flying coach is attacked by a dragon, causing you and your mentor to fall to your deaths. But the game obviously does not end there. On your way down, you grab a port key teleporting you to a secret entrance to Gringotts Bank. Here, you are forced to flee by a hostile goblin named Ranrock, and this is the start of a load of mysteries that you'll soon work to uncover. Oh, and you can also harness the power of ancient magic, which is incredibly rare, and this plays into future events as well as the gameplay mechanics. Hogwarts Legacy tells the kind of story that I would expect from a game set in the Harry Potter universe, and for the most part, I really enjoyed it. The main story scenes are very cinematic, and these major story progression missions are usually separated by several smaller compulsory side missions. These usually relate to day-to-day Hogwarts activities or quests with other students. The characters that you meet, who are mainly teachers and students, are all unique with their own quirks. Some of them are pretty forgettable, but I did enjoy the relationship missions between your characters and the other students. Hogwarts Legacy is so Harry Potter. There is so much about this game that makes me feel like I'm inside the universe that I grew up with, and this is how it should be. And this is immediately apparent. Like, as soon as you arrive at Hogwarts, that dirty sorting hat will be thrown on your head to ask you a few questions and put you in a house. I got the house I wanted. Yeah, I'm a Ravenclaw kinda guy, but you are able to go with another house if it's not the one that you're initially put into. One of my favourite things about this game is that there is so much to do that aligns with the Harry Potter series. You can attend a variety of classes, brew potions, capture beasts, grow plants, ride on broomsticks, and cast all of the spells we know and love from the books and movies. I cannot fault the game in this area, except for one thing. Okay, what is the one single side activity that you would want to have in a AAA Harry Potter game? Yep, that one single thing is not there. I am, of course, talking about Quidditch. At the start of the game, your stupid headmaster announces that the sport will be cancelled due to a recent accident involving a student.
Oh, and one more thing. Due to the unfortunate injury on the pitch in last spring's final, this year's Quidditch season has been cancelled. Enough! It's not as though I've banned flying altogether.
Come on now, if this isn't video gaming's biggest cop-out, I don't know what is. At least there is some broomstick racing, which is a bit of fun, but these broom controls seriously leave a lot to be desired. One analog stick for left and right and the other for up and down? Really? Really? I mentioned before that Hogwarts Castle is massive and highly detailed. Now, it's only been a few minutes, so that statement is still true. But I'll tell you what, how the hell is anyone meant to actually know the way around this school? It's like the architects were high on wizard weed or something. Fortunately, there is a load of fast travel points around the place, even if the Hogwarts map is also pretty bloody hard to navigate. But every time I had to actually walk to an objective, I was only looking at the mini-map, which is a shame since the castle is so beautiful and expansive. The same can be said about the open world, which includes areas surrounding Hogwarts Castle. For me, it was always a case of placing map markers and following the mini-map to my destination. Sure, the open world looks okay, but I was given no incentive to actually open my eyes and look for things. I mean, there was never anything unique, and all of the information I ever needed was on my mini-map. This is ultimately really bad open world design. I also had very little motivation to investigate all of these markers, simply because I wasn't interested. There were only so many bandit strongholds that I wanted to raid with the subpar stealth mechanics, and so many caves I wanted to explore only to find a dirty cape with far worse stats than what I currently had equipped. And when it comes to the dungeons that I did explore, I was also underwhelmed. A lot of them look very samey, with puzzles that range from mindlessly easy to repetitive to frustrating. And the frustration was because the game often forced me to manually cycle through all of my spells to see which ones would work on a certain interactive object. Everything about Hogwarts was great. Everything outside Hogwarts, aside from Hogsmeade, not so much. This is an area where Hogwarts Legacy could have greatly improved. When you think about it, there aren't too many action RPGs out there that have no form of melee combat, and since Hogwarts Legacy is all about witches and wizards, it makes sense that this would be the case here. Basically, your character can run, dodge, and cast spells on enemies. You can cast your basic attack as much as you want, but your actual spells like Expelliarmus and Depulso works on a cooldown. This cooldown system is very poorly implemented, since once you obtain several battle spells, you can just constantly cycle through them, obliterating your enemies. I never felt that I had to wait for the best moment to use them. Instead, I would just spam from the get-go. Other mechanics include defending with Protego at the right time to open up counter-attacks. You can also use ancient magic, which has its own gauge. You can use plants and potions in battle, and you can also break an enemy's defenses with the right type of spell. In most situations, you'll be up against multiple enemies at once, with them all attacking from different angles, and this can get very annoying since you never have a complete view of what's going on. It's just a case of dodge, spam spell, rinse, repeat. Now, some spells do work well together, like using Accio to pull an enemy to you, then Incendio to deal huge short-range damage, but I don't think this combo system ever meets its potential. In a few instances, the game promotes using various spells to keep the enemy juggled in the air, but I didn't see a need for this, partly because it is way easier just to spam spells, but also because you can't stay in the same spot for too long, else you'll be attacked from behind. Look, the combat does have some good ideas, but it soon became stagnant with a little evolution as the game progressed. Hogwarts Legacy's RPG mechanics are very light and does very little in allowing you to customize your playstyle. Firstly, we have spells. Since this is your first year at Hogwarts, you are a classic case of Jon Snow.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
When someone chooses to teach you a spell, you simply have to time a simple button combination and presto, you've learnt the spell. This really didn't make any sense to me. It felt like technically you could learn every spell in the universe if somebody decided to teach it to you, even if you were a 2-year-old. There are no level requirements or other prerequisites, and this took a lot of the magic away. No pun intended. Okay, that pun was intended. Then there are talents, which are also incredibly basic. These do a range of things such as enhancing the effectiveness of spells or increasing your stealth capabilities. Now, each talent falls under 5 categories and you can learn any of them at any time provided you meet the level requirements and have a talent point handy. There's also your character's armor, and by armor, I mean fabric. You will obtain a load of this in your travels, causing you to constantly hit the menu and change into your new stuff. Some of this does look pretty cool, but a lot of it looks stupid, such as these glasses or this mask. You can upgrade your equipment in terms of its stats and passive abilities, but I didn't do this until the end of the game because for the most part I changed my equipment more than my underwear. So far, these mechanics have been really basic, leaving a lot to be desired, but one thing that deserves a bit of praise is the Room of Requirement. This room can be customized in both its decor and its functionable furnishings. If you obtain a furnishings conjuring spell, you can add it to your room for a static value or to provide you with some other benefit. For example, you can place objects allowing you to grow your own plants, brew your own potions, identify equipment, or even raise creatures. Capturing creatures out in the wild, breeding them, then feeding and interacting with them for the unique materials was particularly fun, even if I would have liked there to be more creatures to capture. This was literally the only thing I was interested in doing out in the world map. This Room of Requirement acted as a hub and it was where I went after every major mission. While the mechanics here weren't particularly complex, it was still a welcomed feature. At the end of the day, Hogwarts Legacy gave me a lot of what I wanted from an action RPG set in the Harry Potter universe. There is so much about this game that helps immerse the player into the Harry Potter world, from brewing potions to flying broomsticks to capturing beasts. It is all there, except for the one thing I wanted more than anything: Quidditch. Running around the labyrinth that is Hogwarts was an experience in itself. It is huge, with great attention to detail and many secrets to uncover. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about the rest of the world, which is full of uninteresting map markers and generic locations. Something not generic, however, is the soundtrack. The composers did an outstanding job in this area. Hogwarts Legacy will keep you playing for hours. There is a load to do and collect, and customizing your Room of Requirement to better prepare for your battles was a lot of fun. It's just a shame that the battles themselves were a tad disappointing. There were some good ideas here, but it soon turned into a dodge and spam spell fest. This isn't helped by the light RPG mechanics, which, when it comes down to it, really doesn't allow you to customize your playstyle at all. If you're a hardcore Harry Potter fan, Hogwarts Legacy is a must-play game. There is so much here that you will love, and you'll probably be able to forgive many of the game's flaws. But if you're a part-time fan like myself, hopefully this review has helped you make up your mind. What did you think of Hogwarts Legacy? Do you agree with what I said? Let me know in the comments below. This was Hellfire RPGs, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit that like button and sub for more RPG content coming soon. See you next time.